Welcome back to another Professional Picks college basketball video. Today, we're looking at the round of 64 day two games. So this will be Friday's slate. Already dropped the video for tomorrow's games on Thursday. Check it out. But also look at the card above. We did hit on Pitt in the money or in the playing game last night. So starting off the tournament hot 4-0, including our weekend picks. Let's get right into it. We got three games to look at for today's video. First one, number 10, USC versus number 7, Michigan State. Ken Palm has Michigan State at 32, USC at number 36. So fairly even when you look into the stats, pretty much across the board, however you slice it. These two teams look like a very even matchup on paper. That's why we got the -2 here for Michigan State, obviously being the higher seed. USC does have quite a bit of a size advantage. I was looking into this one. Besides Boogie Ellis, who stands at about 6'3", 6'4", leading scorer for USC, and point guard, everybody else is about 6'6" and above. Initially had me a little worried, but both these teams both average 32 rebounds per game. USC doesn't necessarily impose their will on their opponents and really take full advantage of that size on defense or on the glass. Already jumped the gun, but where it really comes into play is on the defensive end. They are a really good defensive team. Ken Palm normalized them out a little bit, but when you just look at the raw data, USC's defense is up at the top of the country right now. Reason I like looking at Ken Palm specifically for these two teams is they're playing in two different conferences. The way I look at the Pac-12 this year is it's Arizona, it's UCLA, and then it's everyone else. I don't think USC is on the level of UCLA or Arizona. That's obviously, you could see that in the seeding, but I think USC kind of benefited from some of the weaker competition in the Pac-12 this year. When you look at the Ken Palm stats, Michigan State's better on offensive side, defensive side of the ball. They've played a much tougher schedule so far, and they should be able to slow the tempo down in this game, as it's usually easier to do so than speeding another team up. I don't imagine USC putting a lot of pressure on Tyson Walker, the junior guard, AJ Hoggard, and turning them over. This is a smart team, controls the basketball, have about a 1.43 assist to turnover ratio as opposed to USC, who's sitting at closer to 1.1. Boogie Ellis is having his best year of his career, but I still remember some of his rough days in Memphis where he's highly inefficient, and I can never fully get behind him. Sometimes in the right matchup, but not against a team like Michigan State, who just plays balanced basketball. Did not show up for us in the Big Ten tournament, but I think after a real letdown loss like that, they've been practicing hard for over a week now. They'll come ready to go. The public's with us on the -2 here, but I think Michigan State's too good. They're going to win this game, and I think they'll even cover by about 5 or so in this one. Moving on, got Florida Atlantic, number 9 seed, sitting at 31-3 on the season, going up against Memphis, the 8 seed. Been a little quiet this year, but made a ton of noise last week, knocking off number 1 Houston. Looking into the stats, always kick it off with the Ken Palm, but this team's also almost dead even on paper. Another 2-point spread, just giving it to the lower seed as the favorite. I know I didn't side with USC in the last one, but two teams that look extremely even on the advanced analytics side of things. Ken Palm has Florida Atlantic right there. They have them at 22 in the country. You got Memphis at 19. These are two obviously very good teams, and these two teams could have really been like 4 or 5 seeds, I guess 5 seeds for that matter. But this is a brutal 8-9 matchup in week 1. My initial reason why I really like Florida Atlantic is that Memphis coming off of that Houston win. No Marcus Sasser, so you can't give them the full extent of beating the dominant Houston team, but still got to give them their flowers nonetheless. But I think they could be due for a let-off game. I know it's March Madness. I know you're going to come ready to play, but That's an emotional win. You finally beat the team in your conference that everybody was talking about the whole season. I feel like that was a big weight lifted off their shoulders, but more so could bite them in the back heading into March. FAU, on the other end, they also won the conference tournament, so could make the argument for both ways. But for Atlantic's playing their best basketball this season, UAB is a good team this year. Could have been another mid-major team that made the dance, but for Atlantic, knocked them off by 22 in the conference championship. And for Atlantic is a great three-point shooting team. That's where we have their listed as the strength. That's always makes for the perfect formula for a Cinderella run. They make 3.5 more three-pointers per game than Memphis, making about 10 per game, 30 points. That's good for 13th in all of Division One basketball. On top of that, they shoot 37.2% on threes. That's 35th in Division One. Memphis is pretty good three-pointer, so not saying this is the best matchup for them, but Florida Atlantic has the shooting to make a run potentially even after this round. Going into a little bit more because I know not everybody has done their Florida Atlantic research, but they have Vladislav Golden. He's a 3-year player. He played at Texas Tech, putting an average of about 10 points, 6 boards per game. His deal is he's got to stay out of foul trouble. When he plays extended minutes, he puts up really nice stat lines, and he's going to be a huge factor here to stopping DeAndre Williams in the paint. That's about half of Memphis's offense. I think he could do that. They also got Giancarlo Rosado, 6'8", coming off the bench. They are a bit undersized, but that's because they just love to shoot threes. They go 9 deep, so they could play at the up-tempo pace Memphis is going to want to play at, and maybe even play better in that style. Looking back at Memphis, they got Kendrick Davis, one of the best players in all of the conference, and just really a whole other half of the offense for Memphis, other than DeAndre Williams. Scary Memphis team because they have so much experience, but at the same time, I'm not as big on them because they rely so heavily on 2 guys. I think for Atlantic, with their 9 deep rotation, they have fouls to give. They got fresh legs. We're going to rotate guys, double guys. You could shut down 2 key players. And as long as they're hitting a few threes, I like Florida Atlantic a lot to win the game outright. Taking +2 here. Wrapping it up with Drake, number 12, against number 5, Miami. In this game is more of a gut feeling than anything, but everybody's all over Drake. This is a real popular 12 versus 5 upset pick. The 12 versus 5s usually, or the 12 seeds usually end up winning about 2 of the 4 games almost every year. So it's a popular pick for a good reason. Obviously, you got Norchad Omer with the ankle injury, so there's a lot of news and just good reason to buy into this Drake +2 line here. But Miami is a very good basketball team. I thought they were the best team in the ACC this year. They lost to Duke going down without their starting center, and they lost to Duke by 7. I know it's not great, but you're going down your biggest player and your leading rebounder against probably one of the biggest teams in the entire country. You get out rebounded by 12. Duke makes 9 more free throws in the game. That's the difference. Drake, they don't have 7 or 3 7-footers and a 6'8" wing who's going to take it baseline and dunk on you. Drake's a very good basketball team, but you can see they're in their strength. It's defense, according to KenPom. Really solid basketball team, and definitely want to shout out Tucker DeVries. He's a great basketball player. Didn't know too much about him prior, but could shoot it, score from everywhere on the court. Was right around the 100th overall rated recruit, so definitely didn't go unnoticed. Just chose to stay at home, go to Drake. Respect that. Good team. They've made it to the dance before, so you got guys with experience. But this Miami offense is just going to be too much between Isaiah Wong, who's now made it to the tournament the last 3, maybe 4 years. You got Nigel Pack, and then you got Jordan Miller there listed. I think Jordan Miller is going to be key because he's going to be the one um, given the assignment of the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year. He's got to step up. If you can hold him to at least an inefficient night, that could be the difference in the game. Drake's good, but they don't. Another team that's not super deep. They do have the big body Darnell Brody, 6'8", 285, and that's where everybody's really down on Miami. But they have Anthony Walker. He's a junior. In his sophomore year, he had 16 starts, averaged 26 minutes per game, and now he's become a role guy because they've gotten that much better. Just shift him in on the defensive end. It's not going to need to shoot. Between the 3 Miami players listed, all of them can hit threes. All of them can go one-on-one. You have plenty of offense there. Front court just needs to get stops, play solid on the glass. I like Miami to win this one and just really put to rest this upset being so popular of a pick. Going Miami -2. Rambled on a bit, but if you're still listening, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't already. Going to be posting a lot more videos, so stay tuned. And before we wrap up, as always, we have a partnership with Prize Picks. You can see there on the left, they'll match your first deposit up to $100 using the promo code PROPICKS. It's a daily fantasy app, so you could use it in betting illegal states. Give it a look if you haven't already. But let me know what you're taking in the comments. Thank you guys for all watching, and I wish everybody good luck.